I've been learning languages for over 10 years now, and over time I realized something that completely changed the way I approach it. It's not about how much you study, it's actually about how you study and how you set up your life to make studying easier. If you want to get better faster, you need to build a system, one that automates language learning as much as possible and minimizes distractions. In this video, I'm sharing 9 simple but very powerful habits that have helped me and that I truly believe can help you learn faster and more efficiently, even if you're busy, unmotivated, or easily distracted. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more language learning content. And now, without further ado, let's get started. First of all, we want to minimize as many distractions as possible. So habit number 1 is put your phone out of reach. What I like to do is when I sit down to study, I either leave my phone in another room or I put it on airplane mode or do not disturb. I find that even having my phone visible is very, very distracting for me. I get the biggest FOMO. I constantly want to check Instagram. I want to see what my friends are up to. So what works best for me is to leave my phone in another room. If you're not as easily distracted, you can of course leave it on your desk, but I would recommend putting it screen side down just to kind of reduce the temptation to check your notifications and stuff like that. Habit number 2 is keep your study space tidy, because clean environment equals clear mind. A cluttered environment creates stress and makes it harder to focus. I don't know about you, but if my desk is very cluttered, I cannot focus for the life of me. So what I like to do is before each study session, I usually spend literally a minute or two tidying up my desk, making sure everything is organized so that when I actually sit down to study, I don't have to think about other things. Because also very often I have papers lying around on my desk, my computer is open, it's tempting to check my emails, or I see something that is on my to-do list. So I find that it's very effective to just get all those things out of sight so you don't have to think about them while you're studying. Habit number 3 is let people around you know that you are studying. I highly encourage you to set boundaries and protect your learning time. If you live with roommates or family, just tell them that for the next, let's say, 30 minutes, you are going to be unavailable. So if they have something very important to tell you, they can either tell you now or they can wait 30 minutes. Of course, if there's an emergency, they can tell you. If the house is on fire, then you'd like to know, right? But in any other situation, just ask them to wait until your study session is over. And this is a brilliant technique that I use all the time because it really minimizes distractions and lets you focus fully. I find that when I'm studying and then someone says, oh, you know what happened to me the other day? I instantly want to know, and it's a lot harder for me to focus on my studying. So I like to tell other people that, hey, for the next X amount of minutes, I'm unavailable. Let's talk after my study session. Habit number 4 is prepare your materials the night before. If you're planning on studying right after you wake up, lay out your textbooks, your notebooks, your pens on your desk the night before, same as you would do with running. If you're a runner, it's most likely that you lay out your outfit the night before so that when you wake up in the morning, you just have to put on your outfit, your shoes, and you get out the door. Do the same with language learning. Lay out your materials on your desk. It helps you start quicker, especially if you are busy or tired, which I know that I am in the morning when I wake up. I don't want to think about tidying up my desk or looking for my textbook or my favorite pen. I want to have everything laid out in front of me so that I can just wake up, sit at my desk, and study. All right, so now that we have eliminated as many distractions as possible, how do you actually get started? Because the thing is, starting out is usually the hardest thing to do. I'm gonna give you 2 very effective tips. So habit number 5 is use the 2-minute rule. On the days when I'm not motivated to study, I tell myself, okay, I'm just gonna do literally 2 minutes. And if after 2 minutes I don't want to keep going, I don't have to. What usually happens is this kind of tricks your brain into action, and once you start, you usually keep going. Maybe if you're really unmotivated that day, then you maybe won't do 15 minutes of studying, but maybe you'll do 10 or 15. That's always better than not doing anything. Think about it, 2 minutes is nothing. Even if it's very late or you are super busy, 2 minutes is very, very doable for everyone. Whether it's just listening to 2 minutes of a podcast or rereading a dialogue that you worked on recently or doing 2 minutes of shadowing, it still makes a difference. Habit number 6 is have a pre-study ritual to get into the zone. Do something small and consistent before studying, whether that's making tea, listening to a playlist, drinking a glass of water, doesn't matter, but the thing is that we want to create a mental switch between rest and studying. As I said, what I like to do is to clean my desk. So every time I finish cleaning my desk, I know that it is time to focus and to study. Now you eliminated as many distractions as possible. You know how to get started, but you are studying and you cannot seem to stay focused. My favorite method to stay focused is to use the Pomodoro method. I usually keep my study sessions very short, and what I mean by short is like 45 to 55 minutes max. A lot of people think that you have to study for hours every single day to make progress, but that's actually counterproductive because your brain is not designed to stay focused for that long. Shorter focused sessions are way more effective than long ones. Even right now, as I'm doing my Persian challenge where I want to learn Persian from 0 to B2 in 6 months, I don't study for hours every single day. I usually do 55 minutes max. And if I want to do more than that, then I break it down into smaller chunks. So I might do 40 minutes in the morning and then 20 minutes in the afternoon, but I don't sit at my desk for hours at a time. The Pomodoro method is very effective. If you don't know how it works, you basically set up a timer for a certain amount of time, let's say 45 minutes, and you stay focused for 45 minutes and then you take a little break, usually around 5 to 10 minutes. Use the time to hydrate, move around a little bit, just give your brain the time to rest and refresh itself a little bit. And after that break, when you go back to studying, it will be a lot easier to focus again because your brain got a little bit of rest and it's ready to focus again. Habit number 8 is for people who are very busy, and it is to block time for language learning in your schedule. Because if you put it in your calendar, then you are way more likely to follow through. I would recommend to treat language learning as an appointment. If you planned 40 minutes of language learning at 4 p.m., then if it were an appointment, you wouldn't just cancel. So yeah, treat it as an appointment and really commit to what you put in your calendar. It helps you stay consistent even during very hectic weeks. I recommend taking the time at the end of each week or at the beginning of each week to plan your language learning sessions, because then if you have, let's say, 30 minutes in between calls, you don't really have to think about what you are going to do with your break. You know that right now it's time to study your target language and the decision is kind of made for you in advance, so it's way easier to follow through. All right, the last habit number 9, is to habit stack your language practice. And I think this might be my favorite habit. Combine language learning with your daily routines. Listen to a podcast episode when you go for a walk or on your daily commute to work. If you read every single day, then maybe try reading a book in your target language. If you are doing chores around the house, try to, again, listen to something or watch a video in the background. Just try to make language learning a part of your daily routine. That way, learning will feel effortless and a part of your lifestyle. And it's also great for people who are too busy to sit down and study all the time. So yeah, think about your daily routines and how you can incorporate language learning into them. If you like to do movie nights every once in a while, then maybe watch a movie in your target language. It's up to you. But just try to think about ways you can incorporate language learning into your daily routines to make it feel effortless. All right, that's it for today's video. I really hope you found it helpful. Definitely let me know in the comments which habit is your favorite and which one you are going to incorporate into your life. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.